Okay, so this is a video to show you how to calculate concentration. And to get us started on this, I've drawn out a triangle. And this is the triangle that we use in order to find calculation. So we have got the amount, which must be measured in grams, or it could be measured in moles. Then we've got the actual concentration itself. Remember, the units for concentration are grams per decimeter cubed or moles per decimeter cubed. That's then multiplied by volume. The thing to watch for with the volume is the volume must be in decimeters cubed. So if the question gives you it is centimeters cubed, we have to then divide that by 1,000 in order to convert it into decimeters cubed. That's one of the little traps that people forget to deal with. The way to remember this, so we've got amount, concentration, volume. I've been talking about, we're saying this is a chicken vindaloo, so ACV, chicken vindaloo, amount, concentration, volume. And once you've got this, you can use this. If I want to find the concentration, I cover that over. It's amount divided by volume. If I want to find the amount, then it's concentration times volume. If I want to find the volume, I cover that bit over, and it is the amount divided by the concentration. So the best way to have a look at this and get used to using this is to actually have a look at a question. So underneath here I've written down a question, and the question is asking us to find the concentration of a solution when we take 4 grams of sodium hydroxide and we dissolve it in a volume of 350 centimeters cubed. And it wants us to give our answer in two different units. One is grams per decimeter cubed and the second one is moles per decimeter cubed. So let's start by working the concentration out in grams per decimeter cubed. So because the question is saying find concentration, then I'm going to cover this over, and concentration is the amount divided by volume. So on my sheet here, I am going to write that the concentration equals amount divided by volume. If I go to the information in the question, I can see that the amount in this question is talking about 4 grams. So I'm going to take a value of 4 grams, and it's telling me then that this has been dissolved in a volume of 350 centimeters cubed. So I've got 4 grams, 350 centimeters cubed. Now, because it's centimeters cubed, I have to use this to convert it into decimeters cubed. So I'm going to divide that by 1,000. Okay, so remember to do that very important step. If I do this on my calculator now, so at this point I get my calculator out and I'm going to put into that 4 and then divided by the 350, it's been divided by 1,000. I'm getting an answer of 11.4 for my calculator, and then the units are grams per decimeter cubed. So that would be the concentration in grams per decimeter cubed. That would be the first part of this question complete. The second part, I've got to convert this now into moles per decimeter cubed. There's two ways of doing this. I could go back and deal with this and start with 4, but because this is 11.4 grams in a decimeter cubed, I'm going to convert the 11.4 grams into moles, and then it's moles in a decimeter cubed. So I'm going to save myself a little job in doing this. Now to do this, I've got to use an equation to help me to do this, and the equation says that the number of moles is equal to the mass divided by the mass of 1 mole. Okay, so we know the mass is 4 originally, and then we've scaled this up to 1,000, so it's 11.4. So we've got a mass of 11.4, because this, remember, is grams per decimeter cubed. And I've got to do some thinking here now, because this is the mass of 1 mole, and the chemical I'm talking about is sodium hydroxide. So what I've got to do is calculate the mass of 1 mole of sodium hydroxide. And to do that, what I'm going to do here, okay, is take the sodium hydroxide, and I've got to say that there is 1 sodium, there is 1 oxygen, and there is 1 hydrogen. So I've got my 3 chemicals inside there. I'm going to work those bits out. So I know that the relative atomic mass of sodium is 23. I know that the relative atomic mass of oxygen is 16, and the relative atomic mass of hydrogen is 1. So I've got to work those out. So that becomes 23, 16 and 1. Add those together, that gives me an answer of 40. So the mass of 1 mole of this sodium hydroxide is 40. So now what I've got to do is I've got to take the 11.4 and divide that by the 40 on a calculator, and I'm getting an answer when I do that of 0.285 moles per decimeter cubed. Okay, so what I've done there in my working out is I have converted my first answer from grams in 350 centimeters cubed into grams now in a decimeter cubed, and then I've taken that value 11.4 and converted that into the number of moles, which is this many moles, and because it's this many moles in 1,000, then that is going to be the concentration in moles per decimeter cubed. Okay, again, best way of getting used to this is to practice a couple of questions yourself, so please take a second, have a go, try it, keep watching the video to see the routine, and hopefully with that repetition you'll get confident in your ability to do this. Good luck.